Hey everyone, Cody from Mac Telecom Networks. In this video, we're going to take a look at putting XCP-NG on my Protectli box. First, I want to thank Protectli for sending this out to me. They did not pay me for this video and all the thoughts are my own, but I do love the Protectli devices. If you guys are new here, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure to hit the bell icon. If you'd like to hire me for network consulting, visit www.mactelecomnetworks.com. You'd find us on Instagram at Mac Telecom Networks. And if you'd like to support the channel, we have an Amazon storefront and I'll put the link in the description below. First, let's take a look at the hardware that we're going to put this hypervisor on. So the Protectli that was sent to me was the FW6E 6-port Intel i7. It has 32 gigabits of RAM and we have an internal storage of 960 gigabits. It's a 4-core, 8-thread turbo to 4 gigahertz, and you could buy these directly from protectli.com. So the first thing we need to do, we need to get XCP-NG ISO onto a USB so we could go over to resources and the knowledge base. Under the knowledge base, you can see that these are all the different operating systems or appliances that you could run on the Protectli box, but we're just going to focus on XCP-NG. On this page, it gives you an overview of XCP-NG and Xen server. So to find the image, we do have this install link and I'll put it in the description below. And then we could grab the ISO here. I've already downloaded the ISO, so I'm not going to do that now. But if you haven't, go ahead and do that. Next, we need to get this image on a USB stick. And if you're on Windows, I prefer to use Rufus. When Rufus is launched, we're going to want to select the device, so our USB. Right now, I already have XCP-NG installed on this thumb drive, but we're going to want to select the disk or ISO image. If we click select, we're going to want to find where that image is, and mine's just on my desktop. And then we could click on the XCP-NG image and then press open. Next, we're going to want to press start, and then I'm going to write in ISO image mode, which is recommended, and press OK. Here, this is going to format the drive, and I'll press OK. And now it's starting to write to the USB. Now with the image on the USB stick, what we want to do, we want to have an internet connection going into our Protectli box into the WAN port. And then we want to put the USB into one of the USB ports and power it up. I'm connected through a console cable, but you could be connected through a monitor with a mouse and keyboard. You'll be following the same steps. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll launch PuTTY, and then we'll go to my serial, and then I'm going to load my Protectli profile. And the baud rate is 115200, and I'm on COM6. You're going to have a different COM port. If you don't know what it is, go into your device manager to find out. And then I'm going to open it. The Protectli box isn't powered on right now, but I'm going to power it up. And once I do, I'm going to keep pressing F11 to get into the BIOS. And now it's turning on and I'm pressing F11 and we're in the BIOS. So we want to move over to the boot section. And this is where we're going to want to put our USB to be the first boot option. Right now, I already have the boot option to be the USB, but if you don't, click on the boot option and then figure out which one is your USB drive and then press save and exit. Now we're going to want to install and I'll press enter. And this is going to take a few minutes. Okay, now it's saying to select our key map and I'm going to use US and press enter. So welcome to the XCP-NG setup. This setup tool can be used to install or upgrade XCP-NG on your system or restore your server from backup. Installing XCP-NG will erase all data from the disk for the use. Please make sure you have backed up any data you wish to preserve before proceeding. To load a device driver, press F9. To set up advanced storage, press F10. We're just going to press OK. Now we're going to accept the end user license for XCP-NG. I already have XCP-NG installed on my Protectli, so it will say install for you, but for me, it's going to say upgrade XCP-NG to 8.2.0, so I'll press OK. The installer needs to create a backup of your existing installation. This will erase all data currently on the backup partition. I'll press continue. Now it's asking select installation source. Please select the type of source you would like to use for this installation. I'm going to press local media. Now it's asking if I would like to test the media. I'll say verify installation source, and now it will verify. Verification of your installation XCP-NG completed successfully. No problems were found. I'll press OK. We have collected all the information required to install XCP-NG. The installation will be performed over XCP-NG 8.2.0, preserving existing virtual machines in your storage repository, and I'll press install XCP-NG. Now XCP-NG has successfully installed into our Protectli box, and I've located the IP address that it is given it by DHCP, which is on 192.168.10.177. The next thing we need to do, we need to start up Xen Orchestra. So we could do a quick deploy or we could do it by the CLI. We're going to do a quick deploy for this video and I'll click quick deploy. Here we have our host username and then we need to create a host password and then press connect. Next, it's going to ask us a few things where we want Xen Orchestra to be deployed on. So select the storage. This is just going to be the local storage that's on our Protectli. And then it's going to ask us to select a network. Right now, I only have the WAN connection plugged in, which is on ETH0. We could give Xen Orchestra an IP address, or if we just press next, it will give us an IP address from DHCP. Next, it's asking us to create an admin account, and then it's asking you to register for Xen Orchestra, and we could set the machine password. So right now, it's just XOA and XOA. I'm going to go ahead and put in my information and then press deploy. Now Xen Orchestra has been installed. We need to enter our username and password and then press sign in. All right, and now we're into Xen Orchestra. I'm pretty new with all of this, so this is going to be a learning experience for me as well. But at the top, we could see that we have one VM, which is our Xen Orchestra virtual appliance. If we click on home, we could see our VMs, our hosts, our pools, our templates, and our storages. We could click on our dashboard and get an overview. And then here we could see that we have one pool, one host, which is our Protectli appliance, and then we have one VM, which is our Xen Orchestra appliance. We could see the RAM usage, the CPU usage, the storage usage, and then alarms, pending tasks, as well as the users. Right now, we just have the one user. And we could see our VM power state, so we have one VM which is running. There's a whole bunch of different options down at the side. We have self-service, backup, XOA, which we could check for updates on our Xen Orchestra. We have settings, jobs, hubs, proxies, about, task, Xen Orchestra SAN, import, and then new. So what we're going to do for the remainder of this video, I'm going to show you guys how to create an SMB share, and then I'm going to show you how to connect this to an iSCSI LUN. We'll also spin up a virtual machine, which I'll be using Ubuntu. The first thing we need to do, we're going to create a storage pool. So we'll go to new and then we'll go to storage. Here we're going to select the host and we only have the one host. And then we're going to give this a storage name. I'm going to call this ISO files. And I'm going to give it the same description. So for the storage value, we're going to go down and we're going to go to ISO SR and then SMB. And this share is going to be on my Synology NAS and we'll create a new share. So I'll go to my Synology NAS and we'll go to File Station. Here we're going to go to create and then we're going to create a new shared folder. I'm going to give this the name of ISO and then we're going to give it the volume 1 and press next. I'm not going to encrypt this folder right now. This is just for the purpose of this video and I'll press next. And then we're going to enable shared folder quota and I'll give it 100 and press next. And then we'll press apply. Right now I have read-write access and I'll press OK. Now we need to go back to Xen Orchestra and specify the server file path. So it will be // and then the IP address of my Synology NAS /ISO. And then we need to give it the username and password of my Synology NAS and then press create. Now we can see the new storage has been created and we have 100 gigabits to play with. And I'm going to throw in the Ubuntu ISO into this folder. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to create a LUN under the iSCSI manager in Synology. So I'll click on the iSCSI manager and then we'll go to LUN. Here we're going to create a new LUN and I'll just call it LUN1 and it will be on the first volume. We're going to give it a capacity of 100 and then we'll give it thick provisioning and press next. Here we're going to create a new iSCSI target and press next. And the name, we'll just leave everything at default, same with the IQN and press next and press apply. Now back over at Xen Orchestra, we're going to go to new and then we're going to go to storage. Here we're going to select our host and then we'll give it a storage name, which I'm going to call it VM storage. And then we'll give it the same description of VM storage. Under select storage type, we're going to go down to VDI SR and then it will be the iSCSI. Now for the server, we want to specify the IP of our Synology NAS. So that will be 192.168.10.220 and then we can press search. Under IQN, we could see our iSCSI target and then we could see the LUN1 below. Now I'm going to press create. And now we could see that it's created. We could go to home and then we could go to storages. And then we could see all our storage. So we have ISO files, we have our VM storage, our DVD drives, removable storage, and XCP-NG tools. The last thing I'm going to show you in this video is how to create a VM. So we could go to the top and press new VM, or we could go to the bottom left-hand corner and press new and then VM. Here it's asking us where we want to create the new VM, and we'll just do it on the XCP-NG. The template, I'm going to be using Ubuntu, so I'm just going to type in other. And here we're going to specify how many CPUs and how much RAM to give it. I'll give it 2 CPUs with 4 gigabits of RAM. For the install settings, we're going to select ISO, and then we'll select the disk. Under the SMB I created on the Synology NAS, we have our Ubuntu ISO. And then we're going to want to add a disk. So here we could add it to our local storage, or we could do it to our iSCSI. We have our VM storage here, and that's what I'm going to select. Now that we've selected the VM storage, we need to specify a size, and I'll give it 20 gigabits, and then we'll press create. Now we could see we have 2 CPU, 4 gigabits RAM. It is networked, but it's not giving us an IP address yet, and we're getting 20 gigabits of storage. We could go over to the console, and we could see that Ubuntu is booting. Now Ubuntu has finished installing, and we could see that we have our Ubuntu dashboard, and we could ping the internet. So I'll ping google.com, and we're able to get out. And that's it for this video. In other videos, when I get more familiar with Xen Orchestra and XCP-NG, we'll create some networks for VM storage, as well as taking a look at snapshots and backups. If you guys like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're new here, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. All right, thanks.